Hello, friend, and thanks for joining me. I'm Reverend Anna, the Senior Minister of Unity of Austin, and I want to share some thoughts with you about this idea: let love lift you up. Here's a quotation from Jesus found in John 13:34. He says, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I've loved you, you should also love one another. And here's a quotation from Rainier Maria Rilke, the great mystic poet. He writes, this is the miracle that happens every time to those who really love. The more they give, the more they possess. Understood in purely material terms, this idea expressed by Rainier Maria Rilke is absurd. We all know that if we give away our luscious piece of pecan pie, we won't get to eat it. Bah, humbug, so much for possessing more. We also all know that the great mystical poet was not talking about pie. Love is something altogether different. Love gives in an uncommon way. It gives the self with a capital S. Not in the sense of tearing off little pieces of one's identity and handing them out. Rather, to give that self with the capital S, the big self, the God self, is to be vulnerable, honest, present, and visible. Vulnerability means getting underneath anger, outrage, condemnation, projection, and opinion to find our tender life. That life thrives deep within us. It hopes and dreams, fears and feels. Connecting with our tenderness takes courage and it takes strength. It is the road to life. Imagine with me a world where people all sit down at the same huge table and talk, sharing what's meaningful to them, what their life is like, what matters to them, what they hope for, what gives them the power to go forward. At this table, hearts are open, receiving each one's expression of self with no condemnation, no argument, no contradictions. Everyone walks away from this table filled up. Each is in possession of more love than they had yet thought possible. Possession not in the sense of stashing away a large but finite supply, but rather possession in that each person now realizes they own the key to opening up love's floodgates, to letting love lift them up. They can use that key anytime they choose. This is possible when we realize that all people dwell in God's presence. We know with the Apostle Paul, as we find in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, verse 28, he writes, for in him, and he means God, in him we live, move, and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are his offspring. Friend, make it a point to sit often at the table of love with others who are able to share and listen with open, honest hearts and generous minds. The common vulnerability in expressing and receiving is the key that opens the uplifting flow of love. It's not without risk. As we express, as we hear, we're changed in life-giving ways. That's how it works, that the more we give, the more we possess. That's the miracle, and it's open to all of us. I bless you with the love and the light of the living Christ. God bless.